Amnesty International is an organization that holds a mirror up to the world, showing nations the parts of themselves they would rather ignore. It is a global watchdog, a group of people dedicated to documenting human rights abuses wherever they occur, from the grandest capitals to the most remote villages. On August 14th, 2025, this organization turned its mirror towards Nigeria, specifically its southeastern region, and what it reflected was a landscape of terror and bloodshed. The report they released was not just a collection of statistics, it was a chronicle of pain, detailing a crisis where both the state and shadowy armed groups have engaged in a relentless campaign of violence, leaving a trail of dead bodies and shattered lives in their wake. The report's central accusation is that Nigerian security forces have been involved in extrajudicial killings. This is a cold clinical term for something brutal and simple: murder by the state. It means that soldiers or police officers, people who are paid to protect citizens, are instead acting as judge, jury, and executioner on the streets. They are killing people without the due process of a trial, without evidence presented in a court, and without any legal authority. This is a fundamental violation of human rights and the rule of law. When the very institutions meant to uphold the law become lawless, they create a vacuum of fear and impunity where no one is safe and justice becomes an impossible dream for the common person. According to Amnesty International's meticulous research, which involved interviews with over 100 people between April and November of 2023, the scale of this violence is staggering. The report documents the killing of more than 1,800 people between January 2021 and June 2023. These are not just numbers. Each one represents a person with a family, a story, and a future that was stolen from them. The findings paint a picture of a region caught in a deadly pincer movement, squeezed between the heavy-handed, often illegal actions of government forces and the merciless violence of various armed gangs who roam the land with impunity, enforcing their own brutal form of order. The problem is not new, but it has grown into a festering wound. Amnesty has been documenting abuses in the region for years, noting a severe crackdown on pro-Biafra activists as far back as 2016. However, this latest report highlights a dangerous escalation, a descent into a chaotic free-for-all, where the lines between law enforcement and criminal activity have become horrifyingly blurred. The government's failure to address these long-standing grievances and its reliance on brute force have only fueled the cycle of violence, creating an environment where armed groups thrive and ordinary citizens are left to navigate a world defined by constant danger and the ever-present threat of a violent, summary death. To understand the crisis in southeast Nigeria, one must first understand the cast of characters involved, each playing a role in the tragedy. On one side you have the state actors, the Nigerian military, the National Police Force, and a state-backed paramilitary group known as AGU. These are the official guardians of security, tasked with maintaining order and protecting the lives and property of citizens. Yet Amnesty's report accuses them of being primary perpetrators of the violence. They are implicated in extrajudicial executions, torture, arbitrary arrests where people are taken without charge, and enforced disappearances, where individuals are seized and their families are left with no information about their fate or whereabouts. The creation of AGU on April 11, 2021, by the southeastern governors was meant to be a local solution to a growing security problem. The name itself translates to Awe of the Lion. Instead of instilling a sense of security, however, the group has reportedly become a source of terror for many communities. Amnesty's findings suggest that AGU operates with little accountability, often harassing and intimidating anyone perceived as a critic of the government. This paramilitary force, alongside the military and police, stands accused of carrying out brutal operations that frequently fail to distinguish between armed separatists and innocent civilians, leading to the deaths of people who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. On the other side of this conflict are the non-state actors, a complex and murky web of groups often lumped together under the label unknown gunmen. This vague term covers a wide array of perpetrators, including armed separatist groups like the Eastern Security Network, the armed wing of the indigenous people of Biafra, as well as various criminal gangs and cults who take advantage of the chaos for their own gain. These groups are responsible for their own share of horror, attacking police stations, government facilities, and community events. They have turned parts of the Southeast into ungoverned spaces, where their word is law and defiance is met with death. The Nigerian government often blames all attacks by these unknown gunmen squarely on IPOB and its security network, the ESN. However, the reality on the ground, as reported by Amnesty, is far more complicated. While separatist groups are indeed involved in the violence, many of the attacks are carried out by purely criminal enterprises that have no political agenda beyond profit and terror. Residents in affected areas often know exactly where the camps of these gunmen are located, suggesting a troubling lack of will or capacity from security forces to confront them directly, choosing instead to engage in sweeping, indiscriminate raids that terrorize entire communities. In the crossfire between these warring factions, it is the ordinary people of Southeast Nigeria who pay the highest price. Their lives are circumscribed by fear, their livelihoods have been destroyed, and their basic right to exist peacefully has been stolen. The violence is not an abstract concept. It has a human face and a personal cost. Consider the story of a young woman whose life was torn apart in 2021. Armed men, some reportedly wearing military uniforms, stormed her family's home and took her parents away. Since that day, she has had no news. They have vanished, becoming victims of an enforced disappearance, leaving their daughter in a state of perpetual agonizing uncertainty. The violence manifests in daily life in countless ways, turning routine activities into life-threatening risks. A sit-at-home order, initially declared by IPOB on August 9, 2021, to protest the detention of its leader has become a tool of terror. Every Monday, and on other declared days, streets fall silent, markets close, and schools shut down. People are forced to stay indoors, not out of political conviction, but out of fear of being attacked by the enforcers of the order. Those who dare to venture out risk being beaten, having their vehicles burned, or even being killed. IPOB itself denies using violence to enforce the order, blaming criminals. But for the average person, the source of the threat matters less than the reality of the danger. This pervasive fear has a chilling effect on all aspects of life. The economy of the Southeast, once a vibrant hub of commerce, is being strangled. Farmers are afraid to go to their fields. Traders cannot open their shops, and transportation is frequently paralyzed. The social fabric of communities is fraying as trust evaporates, replaced by suspicion and anxiety. People are afraid to speak out against either the government forces or the armed groups for fear of being targeted. This silence is not consent. It is the sound of a population held hostage, forced to navigate a treacherous path where a wrong step in any direction could lead to their death. The human rights crisis extends beyond the killings. It includes the hundreds of people who have been arbitrarily detained, languishing in overcrowded cells without access to lawyers or family. It includes the destruction of homes and property during security raids, leaving families destitute and homeless. The psychological toll is immense, as communities are traumatized by witnessing public executions and living under constant threat. For the people of the Southeast, the state has failed in its most basic duty, to provide security. Instead, for many, the state and the criminals have become two sides of the same coin of violence and oppression. Faced with this mountain of evidence and testimony, the primary demand from Amnesty International and the victims is simple yet profound: justice. They are calling for an end to the culture of impunity that allows these atrocities to continue without consequence. Justice means that those responsible for extrajudicial killings, torture, and enforced disappearances, whether they wear a state uniform or a gunman's mask, must be held accountable for their actions. It means conducting credible, independent, and impartial investigations into every reported incident of violence and ensuring that perpetrators are brought before a court of law in fair trials. The Nigerian government's response, or lack thereof, has been a source of deep frustration. According to Amnesty, the authorities have not officially responded to the detailed findings presented in the report. This silence is part of a larger pattern of deflecting and denying credible allegations of human rights abuses by security forces. For years, reports from both local and international organizations have been dismissed, and promises of investigation have rarely led to meaningful action or prosecution. This failure to act sends a dangerous message that the lives of people in the Southeast are expendable and that state agents can operate above the law. This call for accountability extends beyond Nigeria's borders. Amnesty International has also criticized the International Criminal Court for its slow progress. As recently as July 2025, the organization accused the ICC of a slow abandonment of victims, noting that years have passed since the court's prosecutor determined that a formal investigation into atrocities in Nigeria was warranted. The ICC has cited the need to allow Nigeria's national legal system the first opportunity to act. But critics argue that the Nigerian system has repeatedly proven itself unwilling or unable to deliver genuine justice, leaving international intervention as the last hope for many victims. Ultimately, the path forward requires more than just words and condemnations. The victims and their families want to see tangible change. They want the unknown gunmen disarmed and the rogue elements within the security forces disciplined and prosecuted. They want an end to the sit-at-home orders that cripple their lives and a return to some semblance of normalcy and safety. The cry from southeastern Nigeria, amplified by Amnesty International's report, is a demand for the government to fulfill its fundamental responsibility to protect its people, uphold the law, and ensure that every Nigerian life is valued and defended. Without justice, there can be no peace.
The truth, and the reality is that our people have failed to understand that, the WAR happening in Okigwe, both Olomaka, and other parts of Biafran land, extended to Anambra State, Enugu, and Ebonyi. It's actually been instigated by the zoo military. Now, if you start calculating and checking, with evidence, according to Amnesty International, bringing up their own evidence, on the high level of massacre and genocide that has been committed by these people in Biafran land, I don't see any reason why, one, a political solution wouldn't have been reached, or two, an international help wouldn't have come, in favor of Biafra. Now, as I'm talking to you, you can confirm this information. In some parts of Okigwe, people's houses are being burned. In fact, I know how the DOS guys have been fighting the Biafran Liberation Army. Yeah, they've been, saying all kind of trash against them. But the reality is that the same thing those guys kept on saying, that they are not the ones, unaliving Biafrans. The same DOS have come out to give a very important information that honestly, the military are now going in the homes of innocent people. When it doesn't happen to you, it's as if nothing is happening until it comes to you. Then you realize that, this thing that has been happening since was actually truth. And that is the case of the incidences and the issues of massacres been happening in Biafran land. That it is not happening to you at this moment or to someone doesn't mean it's not happening. The reality is that it is happening. Body Ebubago, as you heard in that video, they called it Ebube AGU. The reality is that is Ebubago. The Ebubago agents and their cohorts are collaborating with the military, in unaliving Biafrans on daily basis. And you must understand that this massacre is being fueled by international community. And that is why Amnesty International is calling out on the ICC. Because it's as if they are silent about this genocide that is happening. And if ICC continues to be silent on this genocide, that means the zoo will continue doing what they are doing. And the truth is that our people will continue, the Biafran Liberation Army and other, arm wings of Biafra will continue to defend their land. A man cannot sit and watch his enemy invade his land or his house, continue to buy his people, and you expect him, not to retaliate. They will definitely retaliate, and that is the issue. And in this retaliation, you must understand that there will be collateral damage. When two elephants fight, then the grass will definitely suffer, and that is what we are actually saying. The grass is the ordinary man, the ordinary people who are going about their normal livelihood, of survival. So if they are easily, gone down by these military people, or by the other people who are trying to defend their land, then it is the work of the ICC, international communities, to come in, and do the needful. Or better still, give us the referendum we are asking for, so that we can get Biafra. It has come to a point where we should sit one-on-one, in court, in ICC court, international court, or wherever, to have a discussion on the referendum of Biafra. Thank you once again for joining us. Now, on the issue of all this whole shenanigan of mass killing and all that, massacre and genocide, I want you to watch the major update of what is happening in Okigwe today concerning the WAR happening, and make sure you share to as many groups and platforms as possible.
Nigerian army currently committing serious genocide in Okigwe State, Biafra land, in the old Imo State. Here are the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 12th of August 2025, and I have some very serious videos for you. This very broadcast is not going to be as usual. I have a couple of videos which I want to show us, and I want this very video to go viral, at least for international community to see what is going on in Biafra, because we have to tell our stories. If we fail to tell our own stories, nobody will tell our stories for us. In fact, the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom government and its security agencies will even like our stories to be hidden so that nobody will hear it. So we have to tell our stories. And Finland must watch this video. So our people who are in Finland, I want you to tag the Finnish police, the Finnish judiciary, the Finnish authority, the presidency, all of them, every department. So long as you live in Finland, please tag them to this video, share this video on X and tag them, so that they see what our people are passing through. It is very, very unbearable. In fact, it is ridiculous. It is unprecedented. It is unbelievable. It is abomination. Abomination is currently happening in Biafra land in the absence of Mazi Simon and Joko. Abomination is happening in the absence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and this is what they wanted in the first place. That's why they have been arresting anybody who dares to talk. They went to Kenya to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they pressurized Britain, Europe, and Finland to arrest Mazi Simon and put him behind bars all this while. Very, very unfortunate. So I don't want to talk too much. I want to first of all take you like 2 days back for us to see, because I want to refresh our memory before we begin to go into the current videos that are happening now. So let us first of all see the initial warnings and the exposition of Biafra Liberation Army concerning what is going on today in Okigwe. So let us first of all watch the spokesperson of the Biafra Liberation Army to see how it all started. After that, I will play another of his video, and then I'll start showing you the other videos of what is currently happening in Okigwe. So stay tuned till the very end of this very broadcast.
This information is for the people in Okigwe. As the information reaching to my table now is that there are some communities that Nigerian DSS, Tiger Base, the group of DOS under the watch and controlled by Ebe Kodike, Ikenga Uruago, Caterpillar, and all the members of defunct DOS, in collaboration with the Asari Tiger Base. The information is that they have mapped out some communities that they will loot, according to the information reaching to me now, that since 3 days ago now, they are in Okigwe in order to fight against the men on ground in Okigwe. And today is the third day of the war. And the information reaching to me now is that they came with trailers, many kinds of trailers, in order to load people's property. Because Ebe Kodike, who is an agent of DSS, and Iken Guruago have directed them, have instructed them that the men on ground are living in the communities, that the men on ground are living in the towns, that the men on ground are living in the communities So that is why he advised them in order to break. When they invade any village, they will ransack the village and they destroy the house, open the house, and carry all the luggages, all the property. So I am bringing this information to the people in Ako, precisely. Ako Okigwe, precisely. Please, everybody in Ako should guard their properties. Anyone in Ihube should guard their properties. Anyone in Omololo, those in Omololo, indigenous, Amosu, indigenous, Aro Okigwe, indigenous, Amoro, indigenous, Amano, Abobo. So there are the communities that they have mapped up now, and they are now bringing more trailers in order to load people's properties. Please, I am bringing.
So now, when you listen to this, you may think it's a propaganda. This very warning and information was given on the 9th. I want you to look at it here. On the 9th of August, 9th of August, which was 3 days ago. Now, let me begin to show you what is currently happening as we are speaking now. Pay attention, my people. So this is going to be the second video. At the end of this very video, which you are going to see of our angel, you are going to see what the Zoo terrorist army is doing currently in Okigwe. Then after that, I will still show you another video. And that last very video, oh my goodness me. Let us first of all watch this one, and then I will play you the last video.
Good day, my good people of Biafran, and respect to my triple general, the person of General Igwe Putozo, Mpamonsa, and my regard and my greetings to Major General Gento de Yahoo, who always give me the opportunity, the privilege to enlighten Biafrans about the ongoing genocide war in Okigwe currently now. So, as I told you that as I was doing some official work in Zambo, and I'm still here to report to you what is going on in Okigwe State. Number one is that nkọwụna mkpụrụ for ndị na-asị na m na-asụ Igbo. Ana m amịchakwa ihe niile nnekwu. Yes, Igbo, Biafra language dị mma, but asụrụ nka. So ihe m na-akọwa that na nkọwụna m na-ekwu, anyone where I talk, go investigate it. Currently now, as the information I am receiving over the genocide happening in Okigwe now is that the Nigerian terrorist killers are burning Okigwe youths right inside their army camp. So if you have anyone in Okigwe try to carry out this investigation over the burning of human youths of Okigwe. They are adopting youths in their checkpoints. Any community, any street they enter, anyone they see, they will carry. They will shoot aside and carry the ones they want to carry and go. This is what is currently going on. And the another report I am receiving from Oman Moke is that the Nigerian securities under the watch of Hope Sodema and Christopher Musa, because they are the one, the DSS, Ebe Kodike, Ikenga Uruago Handema. They are not the invaded Oman Moke and breaking people's house and packing their properties, packing their animals, their fowls. Now, the information I am receiving from Aaron Dizog is that they invaded the homeland, the home of a popular man known in Aaron Dizog as Udelebo and Izog of Ndobo Nyoma. They invaded the community and ransacked the communities and ransacked this man. I will show you the video. The atrocities of these terrorists in the army uniform. I want to use this opportunity to enlighten the international community, the Honorable Donald Trump, please to look into the life and the conditions of Biafrans, especially in Okigwe states, in the Owerri states, in Olu state, in also the Mother Valley, in Biafra land, Baburuburu. Please, Netanyahu, all the lovers of freedom, it is time that the blood of Biafrans that these animals are pouring on daily basis, let their blood cry, and let the international lovers of freedom intervene in the matters of Biafrans. Just to releasing of Mass Nnamdi Kanu will solve all these matters, all these insecurities, all these killings. The release of Mass Nnamdi Kanu will settle all these insecurities. The prolonging of holding Mass Nnamdi Kanu in hostage will increase the killings of Biafrans. Please, I want all Biafrans to understand that the men on ground, the Biafra Division Army, the Biafra Defense Forces, the Biafra Resistance Fighters, the Biafra Armed Forces, under the control of General Botozo, is doing their work in order to defend the land. Please, Biafrans should rise up now so that we can chase away all these Fulanis in military uniform. There's no Nigerian military. There's no Nigerian soldier. What we are battling now here is Boko Haram, direct terrorists that has been terrorizing the international community. They are the one that we are fighting now. So it is time for we to look into on how to liberate Biafrans. I'll be coming up for the oncoming update from Okigwe as it the hot right now.
The commander of Biafran Liberation Army of Okigwe State, Mazi Gentle. Mpa, I be rule eba nda mere invade n'abalị. I be rule eba ihe mere invade n'abalị. Nda bịara ohi ebe a n'abalị bukọcha ihe ndị mmadụ. Bukọcha ma ekwe nwoke mmadụ. Ọ na-akọwa na about 3 million naira ha eburu ya n'abalị. Ma machine ya, ma akwa ya, ma ihe ndị ha ebu juru ebe a. Ebe a ha bịara n'abalị mpa. Once mpa. Lekwe ọka ụwa na-ahụ ya. Nwoke ma enwe ihe o mere ha. Ọ wee just a traditional man n'ọrụ onwe ya na-emere onwe ya ha ọdịnala. Ha bịa ebe a bukọcha ihe niile. Bukọcha ma akwa ya, ma generator ya, ma plant ya, ma machine ya, ma akwa ya, ma ego ya, ma ihe niile. Igwe ọgbata obi ụwa lere ndị a na-eme n'obodo a. Ụwa sụcha ihe niile ndị nwoke ma nwere. Maybe search ebe niile. gbacha properties ya ọkụ burucha ma belongings ya ma akwa ya ma efe ya ma ihe niile ka ha buru bupụtacha ma properties ya eji lee ya ọdọ ndị mmadụ ka ha gbakashị bata brokajuo properties ya everything nọ n'ugbula ma TV ma ihe niile ma machine ya niile ihe brokajuo ya kụwachacha ebe niile gwa ọbata obi ya mpa ọkụwa na-ahụrụ ya ọkụkọ si ihe ofu ebere awụ na enwe onye na-azọpụta ya beta ọkụ ụmụ ụwa nọ n'oli alekwecha dọ ndị ha tọmbụlụrụ ebe a rekie all these places buruju ego nwoke erekechara these places tọmbụlụ everything niile n'ebe a ha kwakeshicha ya tọnụ ya upside down. The man na-akọwa na 3 million naira ya is 3 million naira is missing and machine ya with some properties ihe buru ha bịara looting searching iburukwaju ihe properties ụmụ Biafra.
You see now, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? In fact, I don't want to talk too much. I want you now to watch the last video. And please, to salo numozia ka international community mwiki my fenaga na Biafra land. Ka Finland, especially Finland, ka famalo ifeneme na Igbo.
Gania, December Okigwe, yesterday 10th of August. Ha bịa Okigwe, ha na-egbuchi youth from 18 years go up, ha na-egbu ha egbuchi ishi. For 17 years go up, ha buru ha ishi. For 17 years go up, ha buru onye ahụ ishi. And from 18 years go up, ha buru civilian, ha buru ishi. Ha buru mmadụ, ha buru onye ahụ ishi. Ha buru mmadụ, ha buru onye ahụ ishi. Even lekwa na Okigwe dị dry. Lekwa civilian, ha buru onye ahụ, ha buru ishi. Kene, ebe ha buru mmadụ, buru onye ahụ ishi. Buru mmadụ, buru ishi. Lee, civilian, buru onye ahụ, buru ishi. Maka youth, gbatu ụlọ ndị mmadụ ọkụ. Lenụ na Okigwe ama na dịwa. Look at Nigeria zoo mere. Lekwa ụlọ ndị mmadụ, zuo ihe niile juru n'ụlọ ndị mmadụ. Ma ime n'ihu, ma ihu ha ka juru n'ihu. N'ụlọ ha mebiri emebi ka nkọ. Biko lee ihe ndị Nigeria mere ụlọ. Shop ụlọ ndị mmadụ na Okigwe. Yesterday being 10th of October, lekwa ha mere ụlọ ndị mmadụ. Gbuo ofu onye ebe a buru ishi. Ofu civilian buru ishi. Lee ma shop ndị mmadụ. Lee m ụlọ ndị mmadụ. Ha makachara gate gaa n'ụlọ. Fọchi ihe niile juru n'ụlọ gwụrụ agwụ. Today 10th. As in yesterday 10th. Of October, ole ihe n'ụlọ ogwuragwu. Ihe n'ụlọ ogwuragwu. Lekwacha akwụkwọ ha. Lekwacha. Ma arụsi ha ṅụrụ aṅụ. Ma arụsi ha ṅụchara aṅụ lekwa ụlọ mmadụ. Lee ha mere ụlọ mmadụ. Lee shop mmadụ. Yesterday 10th of August. Lekwa ihe mere ụlọ mmadụ na Okigwe. Kucha ma fence mmadụ na Okigwe ndị amị with ndị Fulani join team ha join up